Locked and loaded. Welcome to Bullet Point.
That's right. I'm EP.
And I'm JM. Every week, we aim to bring you the best of competitive shooting. And trust us, it's a bullseye every time.
Hey guys, no, it's not just about hitting the targets. It's about the stories, the drama, and some friendly rivalries.
Oh, for sure. Whether she's a sharpshooter or curious beginner, or just here to see what is the noise all about, you're in the right place.
Hey guys, want to connect with us? It's it's very easy. Find us in a PHLV Radio Facebook page, the Bullet Point Facebook page, or simply email us directly at bulletpointmediaproduction@gmail.com.
And don't forget, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You don't want to miss a single round, do you?
So JM, who do you think is tuning in right now? You know, the diehards, the curious, well, maybe both?
Yeah, hopefully both. Either way, they're in for a straight shot of excitement. Are you ready?
Stand by! All right, welcome back to our USPSA series. We talked about this in the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
This week naman mga kaibigan, or guys, we're diving into stage strategies and learning how to plan like a pro. Breaking down a stage efficiently, this can actually make all the difference in your performance. So, guys, get ready. Grab your gear. Let's get started.
Yes. Before we jump in, remember, every stage is unique.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So each principles we're going to discuss, and everything is adaptable. Just remember that.
Just take the time to evaluate each setup, and of course, JM, make it work for you.
Yes.
Because maybe it works for you, maybe it's not going to work for me.
Right.
So let's get into it, right? So
Right.
let's start to understand the stage briefing. First things first, right? There's what you call stage briefing. This is actually your roadmap on how you're going to be targeting the stage or running the stage.
Yep.
It will tell you the stage round count, the shooting position, and any mandatory procedure like changing of magazines, right? Or
Yep.
from right to left,
Right.
And take a moment when they start talking about stage briefing, you want to make sure you take a moment to study it thoroughly because your strategy starts there. I
Right.
remember the first time, JM, it was just hard for me to understand what's that right and left thing, right?
Right. No, I same thing. I got lost, and I always kind of tend to copy the person in front of
you, right?
Right.
Just
right,
do exactly
right.
what.
Yeah. Now, folks, you have to pay attention to the fault lines. That's one of the things that you have to really hone in your sights on. Shooting areas and the no-shoot targets. Knowing these details can save you a lot of time.
Penalties. I got many of those in the beginning. Also, guys, don't forget to note any stage-specific rules,
Yeah.
right? Some stages might require specific shooting sequences or mandatory reloads, the one that we were talking about a while ago.
Yep.
And missing these small details can actually result in penalties. So you have to look at it very thoroughly.
Right. As I mentioned earlier, pay attention to the shooters, pay attention to the body languages,
Yes.
Where their foot movements would be. It's okay to copy them and actually ask them for some insights and what they're thought of how they're going to break down the
This
stage.
is a gentleman's game.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure that the person ahead of you, they're going to be telling you how they're going to be shooting it because you're a beginner, right?
Yeah.
So just take a moment to observe those shooters.
Right.
So let's talk about efficient stage walkthrough. Now we talked about how the stage is going to be, the rules of that stage. Now we're going to be walking through as what was told about on how to run that stage. Right. So it's time for the walkthrough. And how I do it, Jim, I always visualize. How do you do it when you walk through?
It depends, right?
Okay.
So there's certain rituals that I do when I walk up the stage, right? I look at to make sure I have a checklist, mental checklist. I look at the WSB.
Mental checklist. That's a good one.
Yeah, WSB, round counts, as you mentioned, starting positions, how many targets, how many paper, how many steel. And then obviously if it's a big match, whether it's level 2 or level 3, where there are ROs, they'll usually describe the stage for you.
Yep.
And then you'll be given a time frame for the walkthrough.
That's right. Usually 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
It's usually
Depends.
a couple minutes.
Couple minutes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, just ladies and gentlemen, just start by identifying. For me, I look at those cluster targets. Where you can efficiently engage multiple targets from one position.
Yep.
I always envision that,
Yeah.
and I
You bunch them up.
Exactly.
Right?
Where will I? That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And you start marking this key spots in
Yeah.
your mind. I sometimes I look at the floor where my foot should be staying at.
Right, right.
That's how I do it.
Right. One of the things too that to notate is to minimize your transition. You want to connect. It's like connecting the dots.
Correct. I like that.
So the smoother you are, the better. The less time it's gonna give you.
Okay. And because always remember, ladies and gentlemen, this speed and accuracy.
Right.
That's the reason why you would want to make sure that every stage plan, you put your speed and accuracy, how you would want to shoot it faster,
right.
but accurately as well.
That's right.
And I think reloads. How about reloads?
Reloads, you got to plan your reload. Now you have to think of how many targets, right?
Yeah.
And especially the division you're in, right?
Yeah,
Production or
the
single stack
production,
would have a lot more reloads. Open, not much. PCC. I don't know what reload is on PCC.
I remember.
I don't know that vocabulary.
Yeah, I remember. Our good friend. I think we mentioned this one the last time, Brenton, right?
Right.
Oh, Enrique, look at this one. I got 61.
You got the long stick. Yeah,
the long stick, right?
But yeah, you have to plan your reload. Where you're going to reload is a crucial factor, so you don't waste time.
Exactly. That's the whole goal there, right?
Yeah.
And then as you walk through, ladies and gentlemen, when you go out there, rehearse your plan physically. Take small steps and simulate your movement, ensuring that they feel natural and efficient.
Right.
And of course, some of us already, we have this muscle memory. This will definitely pay off during that run.
Right.
That's why you have to keep on doing it. And I was watching Today USA.
Yeah.
I was just watching how they do their stage plan. And just before they start, they close their eyes and just trying to simulate, imagine, visualize how they're going to be running the run.
Right. Right. Now, given that everybody has a stage plan, right, as EPS as mentioned, make sure you also have an alternative plan or route. So if something doesn't go as planned, you forgot to shoot the target, or you needed to go back, or the steel didn't fall through, you have to make an immediate plan or what you're going to do next if that your plan A falls through.
Exactly. Since you mentioned that, JM, over the weekend I was shooting that. So I was looking at this this plan. I was shooting it. When I attacked it, I know I was supposed to hit the popper first before the target.
Yeah.
But when I hit the popper, I missed it.
Right.
I went to the target, and then I went to the next window. That's where I hit the what do you call this, the metal, or the, what do you call that?
The popper.
I'm sorry, the popper. Right. So you have to have that plan B always, when you miss a shot.
Right. Right.
All right. So practical target engagement. We were talking about plan Bs. Maybe we would want to talk about target engagement. You prioritize this target based on the distance, the difficulty, and the position.
Yep.
Sometimes, I remember our good friend Miko saying, "Hey, when the paper is just right in front of you, don't look at the dot, just hit it." But it's not going to be the same when the paper target is just too far.
Right. Correct. Cadence will play a game.
Yeah,
I think we've covered that on
cadence
our
is like the music in your mind.
Right. Right.
So for me, maybe how do you attack it? Maybe depends on the course, right? Sometimes you hit the closest first or the easiest target first and build that cadence you were saying, the rhythm and the confidence before moving to more challenging shots. I don't know. How do you do it?
One of the first key factors, I think, for a shooter is you have to know where your zero is on your dot.
Okay.
Right? When I mean zero is what is the distance of your 50 yards, your 20 yards, your 10 yards, and 5 yards.
That's correct.
Being able to, like, double tapping on a 30 yard with a no shoot will probably get you a mic or so,
mic.
unless you know, I mean, if you can hit it that far.
That's
But it's different than a 3-yard open paper. You know?
Yeah, and then I think I learned this from you guys. You know, a penalty can cost you more than a fraction of a second.
Yes.
So you would want to make sure that that cadence that you were telling me,
Mm-hmm.
the rhythm, and understanding how you're going to be prioritizing which targets to shoot first.
Right.
So
right.
again, that's target engagement. So
Yeah.
definitely, guys, when you're engaging for difficult targets, as what he was trying to mention, remember, you go back to your basics.
Right.
Is your 0 on a 20 yards
Yes.
or you know 15 yards?
Right. So
you
is it
need
on,
to know it, right?
Is it on the dot? You
Yeah.
know, speaking of no shoots, right? Penalty. Penalties will occur if you hit that. You know, that paper that you're not supposed to. So you have to slow down, folks. You have to
Yeah.
slow down. You know,
In fact, that's right.
You know, when we shot Tropang Vegas last weekend, there
Mm-hmm.
are some targets there that presented with no shoots and open paper. So the cadence, your cadence will play a role when you attack that paper.
Especially when I was in NRG as well, the same thing. 3 papers all at the same, in a cluster, but there's no shoots in between.
Yeah.
And then I was
So the outside is faster, but the inside is
You
slower.
you make sure that you do it slower. You
Yep.
know? So so if
Yeah.
possible, use a target that the target order that minimizes the transition is what we're trying to say. And
Yeah.
again, putting that cadence in, grouping targets by proximity, how far it is,
Right.
how close it is,
Right.
and alignment can actually shave off valuable time. So which is more aligned to your sight,
Yeah.
and which is farther and which is closer.
Yeah.
So-
Well, when engaging like difficult or far targets, you have to remember to trust your fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like trust your basics. You know, like just steady grip, breathe, inhale, exhale, then focus, sight picture. If the red dot's there, then go for it.
Actually, I realized that I'd rather stop on a popper and then hit it once versus shooting it very fast and miss
And
it
then
and then
missing
shoot it
it
again
and
and
then
you miss it
shooting
again,
again. Right.
So I think that's a good example of that, right?
Right.
So that's the importance of getting those targets in place. That's what you call target engagement.
Right,
And of
right.
course, you have to have that confidence too.
Right. No, that's 100% true because it's easy to go fast, folks.
Yeah.
It's so easy to go fast, but if your hits are sloppy
Yeah.
and it's not there,
I remember
it's
that.
gonna cost you.
I remember that, Jim, when we were doing limited guns. So I could shoot open paper, open targets.
Yeah.
But when I see a white covering a paper target,
Right. Then you pump your brakes.
wait first, and the confidence is
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So, but I was able to go over that challenge.
Yeah.
But it will take time. But you just have to make sure that you have that confidence
Right.
to shoot it. Right.
Right,
So
right.
again, let's talk about especially that visualization.
Mm-hmm.
So once you walk the stage, we were talking about walking through, and you were able to craft that plan already. You start to visualize it step by step.
Yeah.
And then, as I was saying, sometimes I close my eyes and then mentally run through
Right.
the entire stage. Imagine every moment on how we're going to be doing it, where to reload.
Right.
What that
Right.
kind of stone that you have to step on. Landmarks, right? Visualization primes your mind for your execution plan, right?
Right.
So-
No, the pro tips on visualization is just imagine it, like just close your eyes, imagine it
As if you're running it, right?
as if you're running it. This will play a role of your dry fire if
Yeah.
you're imagining it, the weight of the gun, and where you're gonna reload. It's a memorization. Our sport is based on memorization.
Exactly. JM, I'm a musician too. So sometimes the cadence is like music into my ear.
Right.
That, and then I put a tone.
Yeah.
Especially the tone
It's
of
like
the
you're composing a music.
Yeah,
right?
I do that too. That's what you call a sensory preparation. It actually sharpens your focus.
Yeah, it does.
I put music
Yeah.
into my mind. So another benefit, guys, of visualization is stress reduction. Because running through the plan mentally can actually help you stay calm. It makes you bring out that confidence of shooting.
Right.
Because you already know once you move, the target is there.
Yeah.
That's how you would mentally prepare it.
Right.
So,
Speaking of mentally preparing for it, obviously when the beep goes off,
Yeah.
it's like the rodeo, right? When that gate goes and then you're riding a bull, things can go wrong.
Yes.
So and it will.
It will.
Right, it will. It's not a matter of what, but it's a when, right?
This is where it goes. How'd it go?
Right.
Well,
could have shot that better. But don't panic, folks. Don't panic. You gotta have a plan. You gotta have a backup plan.
Yeah.
It's sometimes you gotta make up a shot. And sometimes you gotta hit that paper or target again.
Don't panic.
Yeah, don't panic. That's the key. That's the key thing.
And then what do you call this? Recovering from these missed shots.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's normal. Sometimes you panic, right?
Yeah, it does, and that's where again your investment in dry fire and training and practicing, and as a shooter, that kind of makes up for what you are on the range.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes I just leave it. If I miss it, sometimes I leave it already.
Yeah.
Because
I had
the time, right?
Right. So earlier during when I first started, I was there were some times I was forgetting targets, and this was a level 2 match. So I was like FTSA and then 2 mics, and I was like, that would devastate me. Looking at the hit factor, it was so low, and I was like, man, something's got to be so
you have to compute it in your mind. Is it worth missing the shot and getting the time more? Sometimes you balance it.
Right. So I'm glad you brought that up. Real quick remember we shot Utah State last year.
Yeah.
There was a stage there where you would have to go far left to hit a steal and then start engaging the target all the way to the right.
Yes.
There were a lot of top shooters that calculated the risk versus reward if they were to go there on that left side to hit the steal versus missing and just running through the course.
Wow.
It's an L shape, like a dog leg shape. So I'm glad you brought that up, because there were some top shooter even it's not worth it for me to go there. I'm gonna waste time versus I'll just run this through.
Exactly.
And these are GM level shooters.
Can you imagine, especially if the popper is too small and that's going to be the first shot that you're going to be doing, engaging? Yeah, that's a good call there too, right? So how about dealing with equipment issues? If your gun malfunctions, well, you have to stay calm. It happens. It could happen to a lot of us.
Right. Right.
So you just have to be calm, and then perform your drills as what you planned, and then get back in the game.
Right.
And then
it happens to us. It happens to you.
Yeah. It can happen anytime. Right. But then again, of course, we don't want that to happen.
Right.
But it can always happen as well.
Correct.
It's just that how you get back to a mental composure is the key to it.
Right. I like this part where you mentioned earlier this is a gentleman's game.
Yeah.
Anytime that somebody was struggling on that part where their firearm malfunctions, they're fighting through it, and you can see it, and you can hear it in the background that people encourage the shooter, hey, fight through it, stay with it. So
in fact, I experienced that firsthand. I had a malfunction.
Yeah.
But they said, again, just kidding. Okay, guys, so just in case, deviate from your original plan. But when you do deviate, you adapt with confidence. Trust your training, trust your instinct, and then you try to make the best decision while you're doing it, while you're on the fly. Flexibility is what separates good shooters from the great ones.
Right. keep in mind that adapting doesn't mean you're just abandoning all the plans, but you can devise another plan, but stick to the original plan. Exactly. It always works, and then your fundamentals will play in, put into place. Again, your training, your dry fire, your mentally focused and preparing. That those are coming to play.
Fundamentals, right? Always remember that. I remember over the weekend I had the same thing. I had a good plan, but Plan B worked. Well, if you want Plan C and Plan D, I don't know. But
you know what? I did experience. I mean, my gun was malfunctioning over the weekend. So,
it happens, guys. So if you're a beginner, don't take it too much against you, because it happens to everybody, right? So again, that's how you plan like a pro. The confidence should be there. You always have this Plan B. Always remember about your walkthrough, listening to how the stage should be shot, how you're going to be running the course of fire. A solid stage strategy, ladies and gentlemen. You combine it with preparation, combine it with the execution, and adaptability is going to bring you there like a pro.
Right. So remember, with practice, dry fire, you'll master these skills and you'll see the scores go up. Yeah. Right? That's what we all want. Your name goes all the way up there.
Actually, I like seeing my name going up there, right?
Yes.
But then when you do malfunction, you go to the bottom.
You fight through the names again.
I like the mindset of our good friend Rick. I've seen him many times when we were at Area 2, so I was with him. The first few stages, he got a lot of mics. First few stages, a lot of mics. But he said, "No, I'm gonna get it in the next stage. I'm gonna get it in the next stage. I'm gonna get it in the next stage." End of the whole event, he won.
Yeah, right. Well, you always have to have that fighter's mentality.
Exactly.
Right.
And I like it about it.
And you can't be in the sport if you're weak-minded.
A crybaby.
Right.
But that's true, guys. So if you're a beginner listening to us, everything that you're going through right now, it went. We all have experienced it. Yes. Even the GMs have experienced it.
Right. Correct.
And it's part of the process.
Right.
So you're actually competing against yourself.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that what JM has mentioned, you want to see your name going up to the ladder, and you see those improvements.
Right. Well, folks, that wraps up our quick, topic for today. Be sure to like and subscribe. Join us next week, and we'll cover some advanced shooting techniques. Until then, stay sharp and shoot straight.
Oh, by the way, guys, got questions or tips of your own? Drop them in the comments. Don't forget to email us, because we're building a community of shooters who would like to learn from each other. So see you on the range.